they're both sharp guys. They both know a lot. They're sort of very eager and energetic about public service. I've found the debates to be very substantive, but it's just probably, other than that second congressional district race with Custer and Lawrence, it's probably the least visible of all the major statewide races, which is really unfortunate because I think it's a really interesting, powerful race to watch. If this were a midterm election year, I think we would absolutely be learning a lot more about Colin Van Ostern and I caught it as I was drinking Chris Sununu. And so here's my take on this. Colin Van Ostern is very well known among Democrats. Right? For many years I've heard people, political professionals that I talked to in the state, refer to him as Governor Colin. It was pretty clear that he was sort of revving up to run for this race, just sort of waiting for the release. Sort of all expected him to run at some time, and this seems to be a reasonable year for him to try. He's only in his late 30s, been on the executive council, which votes on judicial appointments and $10,000 contracts and department heads in the state. He's been on there, I think, for 4 years, something like that. But I've known him since he was in his early 20s working for John Edwards as a political communications guy, and that's been one of the arguments that he's been having with Sununu is about his business experience and then this much longer political experience that he's also had and kind of which is more relevant in the campaign. So Colin is very well known among Democrats, and he's also sort of highly integrated into the Democratic machine in the state, but he doesn't have quite the same statewide recognition as Chris Sununu. Sununu name, as some people say, that could cut both ways. But nonetheless, when we had the primaries, and you had 7 candidates, 4 Republicans and 3 Democrats, Sununu had by far the highest name recognition of all 7 candidates. The second was Ted Gassis. And then everybody else, Colin Van Ostern was like 14%, 12%. Sununu was up more, 40, 50, 55% name recognition. Now, some of that is probably the family name, but that's not a bad thing when you're running for statewide office. The downside for Chris Sununu has been the lack of a significant ground game in here from the Trump organization. He's generally been supportive of Donald Trump, not, sort of also has said he kind of has the ability to distance himself from him when necessary. But there just isn't the same kind of organization. I think Hillary Clinton's organization in the state that Colin is kind of plugged into is 3 times the size of Trump.